Someone on TikTok told me about this interview from a woman who's married to a man who was high in the military. One day he got drunk and just spilled the beans. And the military is so salacious. It's debauchery. She exposed how the military was having its own FOs this was a 1998 interview. She also talks about why they don't allow women and Black people in special operations. Check this out.
Your name is Catherine Pollard Griggs?
Yes.
You are the wife of Colonel George Griggs?
Yes.
Love you. It's true that your husband has been the head of special operations under Admiral Kelso, NATO?
Yes.
And in fact, your husband was an alcoholic.
Absolutely.
And probably to this day.
Absolutely.
And during these drunken stupors, he would, so to speak, blab on and tell you everything he knew about the intelligence community. By your association with him, you have come to understand and know that, as shocking as this may sound to the people who are viewing this, that the United States military is literally run by sexual deviants, heavy on the homosexual side.
Truly.
And that in the United States military, people like Jeffrey Dahmer and Kaczynski and McVeigh and Oswald and a host of other people who have a sexual deviant background, primarily homosexual, these individuals are actually sought out by people within the military, the Army, for advancement into intelligence type work because they are so easy to control.
Yes.
And they actually become mind slaves, and that the U.S. military, literally, as outrageous as it sounds, is a mind control operation.
Yeah. That's why they don't have any women in special operations, because that's why they don't have any African Americans. They're too honest.
Okay, now as these generals, over the period of years, this is consolidated to where they're all part of this club. Is your conclusion, based on what you know from your husband's revelations, reading his diaries, this sort of thing, is there anybody in the U.S. military, the Army and Marines, anybody in the level of your generals and your colonels? Is there anybody who would not be in this club?
There's nobody who doesn't know, and I would put money in the bank on this. It's not a party to this. It's not a. Once they get that bird, Colonel, that bird, they go through an initiation ceremony.
What's the initiation ceremony like?
They get them drunk, dining in, shell back. He told me.
Shell back.
Shell back. They
What's that mean?
Anal sex, but they get them really drunk. The guys who are that way do it. It's a group situation thing, and I was told by two colonels who said, it's normal, Peg. This is just what we do in battle,
This is just good old boys.
This is just what we do, Peg.
They get drunk and they
get drunk and they ejaculate. They beat each other off. It's awful.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, the Karkadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and few sisters out there. Unto his like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. Not surprising, but this man is a sexual deviant, Esau, nothing about this man screams manly. The more you learn, the more you hear, you like, God damn, like these people are sick in the head. Everything that you think that requires of a man being a man is in reality in this world, it's really these men being homos. Okay? That's why this world is the way it is. It's because what they do in the dark is coming out in the light. So in order for the world to accept that, why you think, see, now it's coming. She said it's 1980s, right? Which is, you could fast forward to this day. And in the 1970s, there was a group. I don't think there was disco, but that group was called the Village People. Now here in New York, there's a location in the city that's called the Village, and the Village, it was known for the mows, a lot of mows in the Village, right? So that group, one of the main things that they sung was, to this day, a particular person that's in the higher up loves playing that shit at his campaign. Well, that whole song was basically recruiting little boys, little orphan boys, street boys, to go into those facilities which was the YMCA. Why? So homos could get them. All right, so homos could get them, and you notice the characters. Let me see if I can get that of the village people. Man, it's the more you learn, man, the more you hear things, and all those guys were both. They were all those guys were most. All right, and they doing cosplay. One of the main things was, I believe, okay, a sailor, emerald. Why? Because cowboy. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. A construction worker. Because all these things harvest homos. Okay, these guys were all fucking most. 1977 when this thing came out. So in the whole that was them recruiting young boys. Okay, this is where you have another. So I can remember. If I can remember this shit. Let me see. Larry King. Nah, Larry King, co-founder of the world. Nope, nope, nope. Not. I don't. Maybe it is this Larry King. Nope. There's another Larry King. I know his name is Larry King. Congressman. Was he a congressman? Yep. No, not this guy. Damn it. Oh, it's called Boys Town. That's what it was. Boys Town. Boys Town is a national nonprofit organization headed historic Omaha, Nebraska that provides care for blah blah blah. The founder Finnegan. Let me see if I can find this guy's name, man. Well, there was a controversy with this thing called Boys Town. What's the story of Boys Town? No, that's not it. There it is. Is Boys Town the LGBT friendly? No, that's not it either. But Boys Town was built upon little orphan boys that was found and it was being pimped out by the higher ups. So they'll find these little boys, which were not boys, young men, little boys. And let's see if I can find it. Boys Town controversy or something like that. And there was a guy named Larry King. I believe his name was Larry King. And he was pimping them out to top government officials. And one of the government officials, Franklin child prostitution ring allegation. Franklin child prostitution ring allegation began in June 8, 1988, Omaha, Nebraska, when multiple predominant Nebraskan politicians and business figures were accused of involvement in child sex trafficking. All right. So there it is, Lawrence E. King. Well, I was close, but yeah, this is the and he was a supposed black man, by the way, not this guy Lawrence King kid. Yeah, this guy. He was pimping them out because, and one of the main guys that they didn't say who it was, but a lot of people were assuming that was Bush Senior that was dealing with these individuals, and they got caught up in the scandal. So a lot of these right here says mystery scandal begins to shape in Omaha. Can't read this shit because damn. Both sides defend King's plea bargain. He was literally pimping these men. Now, why I bring this up for? Because America is known. This is why. Let me get the scripture real quick. I gotta back up what I'm saying. The whole notion of orphans, of people being orphans, is highly pushed here in America. Isaiah 10:1, it says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and write grievousness which they have prescribed." And one of the grievousness they have prescribed is, which we all know, is a welfare system that kicked the men out the household. All right, and most kids had to grow up with their mothers, and this was by law that they couldn't have a man in the household. Period. If they find out they had a man in the household, the woman lose her house, get evicted, and the children be homeless. So this is what they prescribe. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, the widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. So fatherless is just that. All right. So what they did, an orphan. Right. So what they did, it created a whole bunch of orphans. This is why you have organizations like the YMCA, um, that Boys Town I just make mention of. Uh, there's other organizations that deal with things of that nature, where a child is supposed to have a father in his household, but he doesn't have a father in his household because his father was kicked out, which entails going back to the original video, the military. All right, and the military. Why does most majority of people go in the military? Because of poverty. So here in America, they create organizations to catch people at their lowest point, to catch you slipping. All right, and in order to make rank, to get in the position of the better position, you have to do things. Okay, so Esau loves preying upon. It's like, what's this guy? That model. Damn, I can't even pronounce it anyway, so it doesn't matter. He owned a clothing line, and he would just SAing male models. All right, and that's nothing new. That is nothing new. Well, and what was Hollywood known for? For doing that. So the military, any organization that Esau has his hand in, he is fully abusing people, turning people out. Deuteronomy 32 and 32. I don't know why. No, 32. Deuteronomy 32, verse 32. It says, "For the vine is the vine of Sodom, and the fields, sorry, for their vine is the vine of Sodom, and their fields are the of Gomorrah." So their essence, there is of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. So when Esau sit there, what is his slogan? Boys will be boys, right? That's their slogan. Or the penis jokes, okay, is the so-called white man. Why do you think in schools, athletic schools, they have open showers? Because that goes back to gymnos, which means naked, and everybody's looking at each other. Why you think the prison system is the way it is? All right, and then them allowing certain things happen to other men. Everything about this man is screams out Moses. All right, this is why the scripture Revelation 11:8 it says, "And the dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt, which is America. And what did they told that lady? Oh, boys would be like, it's normal. So the high-ranking officers that you see in the society, they all moles. All right, they all juiced in. They all got to do things. The perfect movie is damn, it's the tip of my tongue. The Last Shepherd with Matt Damon. And it was based upon the CIA. No, I think no, I think it was the FBI, CIA, FBI. But it was supposed to be like I guess he was supposed to play the role of J. Edgar Hoover, who was well known for being a Mo. All right, so it says Sirach 10:2, as the judge of the people is himself, so of his officers. So that goes for the higher ranking officer. Right now, the highest ranking man in this kingdom is Nero, who had a skit with the former mayor of New York City, Giuliani, all right, and him dressed in drag. They have a thing for dressing in drag. Okay, so the officers, people in military, a majority of them are in that sector, and that's part of the secrets that they don't let it out openly, because they're saying boys will be boys, right? And this is why this is why damn women run to the black man, because they know for a fact that majority of these Edomites are moles. It is in their nature to be that way. That's why I read Deuteronomy 32 and 32. It says, what manner of man rule the ruler of the city is such are all they that dwell therein. So you see why Trump is going after everything that moves, but he's not going after those group of people. Right? Trump is in a controversial thing. He was pretending to be the man of man. Come to find out, he's sucking off Bubba. And all his supporters, like Alex Jones, I should have clipped that damn video. But he said, I did a video on it, but he said, so what if Trump did that? If they found a tape on that, so what if he did it? We're not in World War III. So they're justifying it means by doing vile things. And that's the Edomite mentality. All right. But they'd be the first one to quickly say, oh, this person is this and that person is that. And you come to find out that's all they are by nature. This is why they don't have a problem promoting that madness. And who's ahead of all that? The small hatters. And what did the Lord do to that place that they reverence so much? Because that's what they do. They reverence it. 2 Peter 2:6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, and condemning them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just like, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So Lot wasn't with none of that shit. All right, he was vexed. So for a top colonel to sit there and say, "Oh, it's nothing," or a top officer, definitely generals, 5-star generals, 4-star generals, people in that brass position, they do things, all right, and which makes sense if especially if the society is like the beast system, for them to make that statement. And that's not in the military. That's not everybody don't do that. All right, everybody don't do it. But it's ironically funny that those that are in position who's supposed to be disciplining The enlisted people would do that. Okay, but I don't know what today's military looks like. They already soft anyway. But yeah, Lot was not with all that shit. It said, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing, hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So was Lot pissed off? Then was Lot what they'll call a xenophobe? I still don't know what the fuck a xenophobe is. Let me look that up. Was Lot was he Xena? Yeah, man, this world is weird, yo. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. Xenomorphosis, xenophobe. What the hell does that supposed to mean? Xenophobe is a fear or dislike or hatred of people from other countries, cultures, or groups. Oh, so they just rounded it up. All right. So so was Lot? The scripture said that Lot was a righteous man. Was he a xenophobe? Xenophobe is a fear. So the play on words is homophobe. That's the other one. So you fear that is not fear. If you dislike something, that doesn't make you fearing it. You hate it. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you you supposed to hate. The scripture says, what was it? Definite. We can see. You need to type it in. It says, love the good. Isaiah. I gotta type it up. No, it's not Isaiah. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be like Amos or something like that. Amos 5:15. Hate the evil and love the good. So hating evil is not a xenophobe. All right. Hating the evil is a righteous thing in the sight of the Lord, which this society don't know nothing about righteousness. It says an established judgment at the gate. So we're supposed to hate the evil. Okay? You're supposed to hate evil. But in this society, they promote evil and they call you any sort of names. So the men of the Lord is gonna not fit in this world, no matter what. We're always gonna hate that which is evil in the sight of the Lord. And this is why the Lord delivered Lot, because Lot was that example. He had to live through it. It says, verse 9, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation. So yeah, in the military, you don't really have no rights. But you have rights. No lawful deed, unlawful deed. Fuck it. You know? And you could fuck somebody up. In the military, there's a lot of people that's prejudiced. They get away with shit because by rank and order. It's very the military is very racial prejudicely bound. So you have no rights at all. Okay, but the Lord knows how to deliver. This is why when what Pete Hegseth said, make a statement that people that have the no chip clause, the no chip thing is no longer to be accepted, and this after the third. The Lord is getting his people outing out of that racist, prejudice, homo driven organization that is the U.S. military. It says, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Because God, you're thinking like You got top brass Jake that's in that man's military. So what the hell did they have to do? Well, we already know. Just to remain in that. So the Lord setting everything up, setting everybody up. All right. This secret society is no longer a secret. Everything is being exposed. So that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.